Hello, hello. We're back. Hopefully, we're going to get a good few stories in today. I've got at least a good hour or so. Let's see about that mic gain. It looks like it's a little bit low today. I'm having to hold it pretty dang close. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, last stream I was pretty audible, so I'm going to just assume we're okay there. Let's go ahead and initiate starting to share the stream here. I'm going to just unscrew the snowball so I can just hold it because the thing's too heavy right now with this whole stand on it. So there we go. We've just got the speaking orb. I've got the orb of communication. Anybody in chat or comments want to let me know if I'm too quiet or too loud? Please let me know before we get started. I want to make sure everybody's good on audio here. I'm also going to go ahead and start sharing screen as soon as we're ready. I could open it on my phone and see how it looks. We'll see. Before we get going, you know what I mean? I want it to be smooth. Be smooth. Be smooth. Whoa, that was an echo. Be smooth. Smooth. Whoa, that was an echo. That was freaky. I didn't like that. Okay. Yeah, I can hear just fine. In fact, I'm a little bit close to the mic. I can hold it a little further back. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna screw that back in first of all, since I found out we're good there. And yeah, let's get started here. I was gonna go just do some basic no sleep. Let me get the share screen going. Share entire screen. Okay, that is a lot of looping. Okay, so let's see what we get to start with today. Sorry, my mantis just went crazy in there. She really wants out today, but she's a Chinese mantis. I'm not supposed to keep those in the environment as much. Okay, we got looking for the darkest, most horrifying, and unsettling story ever posted on No Sleep. That could be a good, let's see what they say. I dared my best friend to ruin my life. I've already heard that one. Left, right game, and the evil beneath. I've already heard the first two of those. I dared my best friend to ruin my life. And I've also heard the whole left-right game. And honestly, if I were to read that, we would likely be here for about 6 to 8 hours. So that's just no good. Also, let me go ahead and put chat in another window somewhere where we don't have this crazy mess up of a situation. It doesn't matter. Okay, we've got my grandma used to tell me scary stories when I was little. There's one I'll never forget. I kind of like that. Here we go. I'm hoping audibility is very good, everybody. I'm hoping we can hear me, and I'm hoping we're ready to go. Okay. My grandma used to tell me scary stories when I was little. There's one I'll never forget. I was 10 years old when Grandma came to live with us. It was about 6 months after Granddad passed away, and I guess looking back, she must have been lonely in that big house of theirs, rattling around with only the grief and memories for company. So despite a few protests from Mum, my parents took her in. Oh, so they're British. You see the Mum? So despite a few protests from Mum, I'm not going to keep that up the whole story, though. Don't worry, I'm not that dedicated. There were no protests from me. Not at all. Grandma was loud and fun, and I loved her. She had an almost limitless supply of boiled sweets, and she'd always slip me a couple whenever she'd see me. She was always the first to stick up for me when I got in trouble, too. Yeah, good for her, dude. But it was her stories I loved best. Grandma had all kinds of stories. Stories about growing up during World War II, stories about the things she'd get up to with her friends on the South Coast. After her family had been evacuated, sad stories, funny stories, adventure stories. But it was her scary stories that were my favorite. Grandma had lots of scary stories. She told me she dabbled in the occult when she was a teenager, trying out Ouija boards with her friends, tarot cards, fortune telling, all that stuff. Most of the stories I'd laugh off or forget not long after she was done telling them, but there were a couple that really did spook me a bit. I was only 10 at the time, you have to understand, and Grandma certainly knew how to bring the stories to life. So, I mean, this kid's just getting horrified, I assume. Let's see if we got any comments or anything yet. No, we're clear. We're clear. I mean, this kid is just, for it to be the one story that sticks around, that would mean something, you know. This kid's in for a treat. Fucking train. I'm sorry if y'all can hear that. It is going out there. All right. Most of the stories I'd laugh off. Oh, yeah, we're past that. She'd shut off the lights in my room so only the glow of the night sky shone through the curtains. And she'd shuffle in real close. Close enough so I could see the wrinkles on her face and smell the boiled sweets on her breath. Close enough so her deep blue eyes could stare straight into mine. She must have given me nightmares with a few of those tales, but now, years later, there's only one that I can still really remember. Only one that's stuck with me. The story about the shower and Mr. Longfingers. Okay, just immediately off the bat, I want to say both of these things, the shower and Mr. Longfingers, those are really not giving me like green flags. Those are giving me like, these are very red flags. This is going to be bad. Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of red flaggy. Mr. Longfingers in the shower. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, do with that what you will. I'm not going to like let the imagination go too far, but I think we can all assume that is not great. Grandma told me about Mr. Longfingers one night after I asked about her baths. Damn, that train is really hitting. I hope that the gain is down enough to where it's not a problem. Frankly, I should have gone ahead and shut my window before initiating the stream, so that's partially on me. I'm kind of waiting for the sound out there to stop. It's not going to stop. Okay, well, I'm still audible. Okay, so this is kind of going to get creepy. I'm feeling like we're kind of on the second part here out of the whole thing. Hopefully it's not too long. Yeah, we got a good like normal story length. Grandma told me about Mr. Longfingers one night after I asked about her baths. Grandma used to love her baths. She'd spend ages in them, light candles, incense, lie in the tub humming to herself until the water turned cold, by God. She would stay in that fucking bath for 10 hours at a time. I swear to God, we thought this woman was crazy. It drove my mom crazy, quote. Yeah, see. But when I asked her why she loved them so much, she said it was the only place she could relax. The only place that was safe for her to relax. You know, in a way, I personally can kind of get that. Like for me, I feel like it's the one place I can get away from everybody and I can just be there. It's warm water. I'm just comfortable and I'm not just surrounded by all this stress, you know? Especially lately, I've gone through a lot of stress, a little bit too much aggression from some people that I just had no anticipation of experiencing. I'm not going to go into that because I'm not the type to keep spreading drama or keep that kind of stuff going. I'm just saying, your boy right here has gone through a few baths this week. Okay, at least a few. But here we go. You know, people, is this the old lady? Yeah. You know, people like me who are, well, more sensitive to certain things. We have to have baths, she told me seriously one night, shuffling closer on the bed. I couldn't possibly spend that long in the shower. I'd be far too risky. What the fuck, Grandma? What does that mean, Grandma? What do you mean it would be more risky to take a shower than a bath? I mean, aren't you more likely to drown in a bath anyway? Grandma stared at me with those blue eyes of hers, unsmiling, and I knew it was time for one of her stories, one of the scary ones. I shivered with pleasure and pulled the covers up to my chin. Why is it risky, Grandma? She half turned to look out the window, watching me from the corner of her eye, pausing for effect. I waited, feeling my heart rate pick up ever so slightly in my chest. Well, she said after a moment, it's only risky if you close your eyes, of course. If you close your eyes for longer than 10 seconds. What do you mean? Why? Well, do you ever play that game in the playground with your friends? The one where someone turns their back and the others sneak up on them when they're not looking? I nodded, and Grandma nodded back. Exactly. So that's what it's like in the shower. When you have your eyes closed, that's what it's like with Mr. Longfingers. That's weird. It's just weird. Like the name Mr. Longfingers just comes across as like some weird predatorial stuff. I'm gonna be honest. A cold itch tickled my back. Who's Mr. Longfingers, Grandma? She let out a deep breath, as if she hadn't said anything, turned her head back to face mine. When she next spoke, she lowered her voice. No one knows exactly. Some think it's a creature that's attracted to the heat and smell we give off in there. Others think it's a demon that finds a way into our realm through the dense steam clouds. No one can say for sure, because the only ones who've actually seen Mr. Longfingers aren't ever going to be able to tell you. Why not? Grandma shuffled closer along the bed and leaned towards me, leaving my question hanging in the air. Don't you worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry your pretty little head. As soon as you remember the rules, you'll be fine. What? What rules, Grandma? Well, when you're in the shower, you try not to close your eyes for too long. 5 seconds is fine, and 10 is just about okay, too. But any longer than that. Yeah? Then what? Okay, I'm having way too much fun with that. I gotta slow my roll. Well, any longer than that, and you may just start to feel something in the room with you. Something watching. And if you ever go longer than 15 seconds, it's when you might start to hear a noise, too. Hear what? Grandma, you scare me, Grandma. Why did I sound like Michael Jackson or something there? Is that too soon? The soft tap, tap, tap of fingers on glass. Fingers drumming against the glass door of the shower. Oh, well, I guess they have a glass shower. Fuck you. I've got like a cheap plastic shower curtain, and that's all. I don't even have like a shower curtain outside. I've just got the liner, you guys. So I guess you're rich. Good for you. Either way, if you do open the, if you do hear the noise, God forbid, don't open your eyes if you hear the noise. Ew, that's creepy. That story is just weird. I'm seeing it in the aspect of like maybe this weird grandma's like creepy about this kid in the shower, and then like maybe she hears her coming in and is like, oh shit, I better close my eyes and keep them closed. So fucking weird. I don't know. It's just like maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe it's like either way, they've got a shower demon in this household. They've definitely got a shower problem. You know, I think defining demon is pretty important. But I mean, in this case, we don't know what's going on yet. I barely slept that night, hardly at all. I'd close my eyes and try to relax, but every time I did, I'd imagine a face pressed against my bedroom window, staring at me. And when I did finally get to sleep, I had nightmares. Bad ones. I had them all week, in fact. Dreams about disembodied eyes watching me in the dark and long fingers reaching out to touch my exposed skin. It wasn't any better when I was awake either. Not really. The shower was the worst. That's when my grandma's story really got to me. I'd never thought about it before, but suddenly I had trouble shutting my eyes in there. I'd be standing beneath the beating water, shampoo running down my face, and as soon as I squinted my eyelids closed, I'd hear Grandma's words running through my head. 5 seconds is fine, and 10 is just about okay too, but any longer than that. I'd rub my hair fast, feeling the shampoo dripping off my chin, and as soon as I'd counted past 5 seconds, I'd feel it. Oh, so she actually feels it. Ooh, that makes it so much creepier. A sort of pressure. Not a feeling of being watched exactly, but something close to that. I'd run my fingers faster and faster through my hair, frantically trying to get the suds out. And the ready blackness behind my closed eyes, coupled with the rush of water in my ears, would feel like a held breath, like the silence before a scream. The seconds would race through my mind, and I'd be so desperate to open my eyes again that sometimes I'd do it before my hair was rinsed fully clean, and my eyes would sting with shampoo. That's dedication right there. I mean, this kid, they feel the pressure, right? I think it's a she. I don't remember exactly. She feels that pressure. She's like, you know what? Fuck, I'm keeping my eyes open, even if they burn. That's dedication right there, you guys. Just got to get out of the shower. You got to shower quick showers. Maybe this is the kind of story you tell your grandkids or something if you really want them to shower quickly. You know, maybe you got a thing about taking long baths. Remember, you said she likes to have the bath for a long time. She likes that hot water, so she just told this whole bullshit story so she'd have plenty of hot water for the bath. I mean, if anybody gets that, I mean, the logic is pretty sound. Personal opinion, I don't know. No chats. That's a shame. It's all right, though. I'd rub my hair fast, feeling the shampoo dripping off my chin. There we go. It was a pressure, sting with shampoo. Okay. Before I shut them again, I'd always be sure to peer out through the steam glass door of the shower cubicle just to make sure that I was still alone. Oh, okay. We got another part here. I've got to hit the bathroom, and then I will be right back. So we're on a little bit of an intermission since I actually am live. All right. Give me just one more second here, and we're gonna get going. Okay, let's see what we got here. It wasn't long before Mum realized something was up. She heard me crying out in my sleep one night and came in to comfort me, asked me what the matter was, and it all came out. I told her about Grandma's stories and how Mr. Longfingers, and about Mr. Longfingers. She got this look in her face when I was telling her, like she used to get when I'd made her really mad. This wide-eyed, angry look. Only this time she wasn't angry with me. She was angry with Grandma. My parents' room was next to mine, and sometimes if I pressed my ear against the wall, I could hear them talking in there. Soft whispers. That night, though, after Mum was satisfied I wasn't scared anymore and she'd gone back to her room, the whispers weren't so soft at all. Oh no. I'd heard Mom hissing to Dad about Grandma, about the story she'd told me. Mum's voice floated through the wall, sharp and crisp. You know what your fucking mother said to him now, don't you, Simon? Dad's response was an unintelligible mutter. She's told him there's a monster that'll get him if he shuts his eyes in the shower. So we now know that is a boy. It's a little boy. A monster. The poor kid's been having nightmares about it all week. Seriously, Simon, you'd better say something to her tomorrow morning, first thing, or I will. Grandma came to visit me in my room the following night. That time, as she perched at the end of my bed, there were no stories. Nothing like that. Grandma just sat there and stared down at me, her blue eyes wide and sad. The light from the moon outside my window lit up her wrinkled face. You know, I'd never let anything bad happen to you, don't you? She said after a moment. I nodded my head. I know, Grandma. You know, I wouldn't let you come to any harm. I nodded again. Okay, good. That's good. She looked away from me for a moment, out the window. You know, the things I tell you in the evening are meant to help you, sweetheart. They're meant to toughen you up a bit, protect you. But maybe your mom's right. Maybe I went too far this time. This sounds like a real story this time. It sounds like this crazy grandma just really liked her bath time and just decided, hey, nobody's going to get any fucking hot water but me, especially these kids. I'm going to just tell them there's like a full ass whole like hot water demon that will come in and just screw you over. I'll tell you what. You know what I told you about Mr. Longfingers in the shower? Well, I'm going to make sure you're safe. I'll scare the bastard off. How about that? It won't come back in a hurry if it has to face me. I stared up at Grandma, watching her glow in the moonlight, watching her smile down at me. I nodded my head once. Oh dear. Immediately on the next part, I was the one who found her. I don't know when exactly it happened, but I'd guess it was only about a week after we'd had that talk in my room. A week after she told me she wouldn't let me come to any harm. I woke early that morning from a bad dream to a heavy thumping sound. I sat bolt upright in my bed. My room was quiet all around me, and I couldn't hear anything from the wall that joined my parents' room either. But the house wasn't entirely silent. Floating down the hall, muffled by my closed door, I could hear the sound of rushing water, the noise of the shower. I leapt out of the bed and ran down the upstairs hallway, heart already pounding in my chest. As soon as I reached the closed bathroom door, I started banging on it. A deep terror was welling up inside me, like cold water from a well, something I couldn't place. And I kept banging and shouting, "Grandma!" over and over again, even though she didn't respond. Off to my right, I was dimly aware of voices from my parents' room, the sleepy shuffle of footsteps. But before they had a chance to make it out into the landing, I'd lifted my hand to test out the door handle. More out of instinct than because I thought it might actually be open. But the door wasn't locked. I kept banging my head with my free hand, and it swung suddenly inwards, bringing me face to face with a wall of steam. Heat struck my skin. I squinted my eyes against the damp fog and peered into the bathroom. And before Dad pushed me to the side, before everything around me descended into shouting and tears and chaos, I saw her. I saw Grandma. She was lying naked on the floor in the shower cubicle, the water beating down around her, blue eyes bulging from her face. One hand was curled against her chest, like a dead bird, while the other trailed against the glass of the shower cubicle. The flailing finger marks she'd carved through the steam still clear and fresh. It was a heart attack that killed her. That's what my dad told me. He said Grandma was old, and the thing had struck her quietly and suddenly. She would have died fast and without pain, Dad said. She wouldn't have suffered. I knew better, though. Even as a 10-year-old kid, I knew better. That's like quite a contradictory statement right there. Even as a 10-year-old kid, I knew better. Well, no, actually, you probably didn't, but all right. And years later, writing this as an adult, I still know better. I also know my wife and kids resent me for refusing to have a shower in the house, for insisting everyone take baths. They pretend it's okay and they humor me, but I can tell they still really don't understand it. Not at all. My wife thinks she does. She thinks I still carry the trauma of seeing my grandmother dying in front of me when I was little. I guess she's right in a way, but she doesn't know the truth. Nobody does. And no one would believe me if I told them. No one would believe me if I said the reason I don't take showers, the reason I haven't had one since I was 10 years old, isn't because I'm scared from the sight of a dead body. It's because all those years ago, when I crept back in the still hot bathroom after the paramedics had taken Grandma's body downstairs, I made sure to check the marks her fingers had carved through the steam glass of the shower cubicle. And those marks weren't just on the inside. Whoa. Wow. Is this all connected? Yo, so we got part 2 that we gotta like save next. That one was pretty good so far. I'm really enjoying that. I guess we're gonna come back for part 2. Let's see. I'm just gonna do a basic share copy, and I'll pop it in some notes. There we go. Excellent, excellent. So I was impressed. I honestly think this story was pretty good. Had a lot of upvotes. Looks like we got more length on our next story here. A little bit. No, really much more length. I think this one's a little bit shorter. However, I don't want to be worn out by the time we get there, guys. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is give it a break now. And if I decide to get back on today or tomorrow, you guys are going to see it live. Just put those notifications on. Make sure you're subscribed. All that bullshit. Thank you very much for watching, you guys. I mean, you're the reason I do this. I appreciate y'all. Seriously. The other reason I do this is simply because I like to. I like being able to go back and listen to these stories. Even myself with my very cringy, nasally, annoying ass voice, I still like to go back and just re-experience these things simply because, like, hey, there's a whole bunch of stories out there that deserve to be read, you know? Ever since I started watching things like Creepcast and stuff, I realized, like, that is just a luscious and beautiful part of the internet that needs, like, a lot more documentation. And I think another aspect of this is, like, we need, as a community in this channel, to find what other things we want to document. Not just these stories, but maybe more than that. Either way, guys, if there's more to it, if there's more things you want me to document and read live, put down in the channel so we can save it forever, just let me know. I am down, and I'm having fun, you know. Thank you for watching, y'all. I do appreciate it. I'll be back either tonight or tomorrow with part 2 of my grandma used to tell me scary stories when I was little. I'm not going to read the whole thing because that's like really long. Peace, y'all.